Hey, Armand here with your astrology moodcast for the week of October 3rd, 2021. And what a mood we're likely to be in as we wane into the new moon on Wednesday. Well, the first part of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty good, basically harmonious aspects, not a ton of energy because it's a waning moon, but pretty harmonious, pretty good stuff. On Sunday, we have Mercury again trying to Jupiter. Could say a little too much. It's Mercury's retrograde this time, as opposed to last week when he was slowly going direct. Now he's slowly going retrograde. Might repeat some of the things that were going on towards the earlier part of towards the part of like a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, things that were hot about 2 weeks ago may be revisited now, or maybe not. Anyway, we could say a little too much and get a little mixed up, just like I'm doing right now, for example. But that energy is not particularly strong. I don't think that that's the real thing. Then we get to the new moon on Wednesday. The new moon is in the sign of Libra. It would typically be a time of resetting things for purposes of commerce and legalities, relationships, perhaps. That new moon energy, it's the time of year of taking your harvested goods to the market, and so to determine what the worth of things are. Well, now here's the problem. It's not a problem, it's a little bit of a problem. This new moon is closely conjunct to the planet Mars in Libra, which could indicate a little bit of extra, let's call it feistiness. But Mars is in Libra, which sort of suggests that it wouldn't be necessarily a direct kind of thing. So we may get a little bit of, let's say, technical snafus. Of course, Mercury's retrograde. We might get, paperwork jam ups, and perhaps some folks, not you, but some folks might, throw procedures in the way of progress. Well, we'd like to do this, but after all, we're going to have to fill out all these forms. We can't just go ahead and do it. Well, the new moon being conjunct Mars, while Mercury's retrograde, certainly speaks to all of that. The other thing that is happening on Wednesday, not a typical aspect for a placid new moon in Libra, is that Pluto is stationing to go direct in Capricorn. Now, Pluto stations always bring that Plutonian energy to the fore, and so there's a degree of tension. There's the push for transformation, and yet Pluto is stopped, so you don't necessarily get there. You can feel that kind of constraint, but not quite erupting just yet. Happening on a new moon, I would say that it's a very implosive energy. It's always kind of a very implosive energy anyway. But that's Pluto stations are always a little implosive, but certainly on a new moon. What this suggests to me, your take-home message here, is that through really this entire week, there may be a little bit more emphasis on bringing things into conclusions and endings and wrapping things up rather than beginning new things. So this is, new moons, conjunction of the sun and the moon, end of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle. So it's beginnings and endings. My sense is that with Pluto stationing and so on and so forth, it looks like we might be more inclined to bring things to an end. So merely keep it in mind. Folks will be tense at midweek. It's not going to be a new moon that feels particularly restful. And yet, the thing is, there's this Mars energy, there's this Pluto energy, and but we really don't feel up for it. It's like they don't really feel up for it. You'd really rather just not, but you might have to. Thursday, similar kind of vibe. Of course, we're just barely coming out of the new moon at that point. So on Thursday, I wouldn't think that we would get much of a change. The moon is going to go into Scorpio and do what it can. Thursday, Friday the moon is going to oppose Uranus. And that might be, I think at that point in time, Friday, if not Saturday, might be a little bit more of Friday is the day that I think that the energy of the new moon may pop. So that constraint probably will continue. I think Wednesday is probably Wednesdays, maybe a little bit more of the tension, but you feel it certainly on Thursday. And then Friday, it might kind of finally kind of pop, which would be, probably pretty good, probably a pretty good way to go. Let that energy release and start working towards real transformation. Then on Saturday coming into Sunday, Saturn is stationing. Saturn is stationing next Sunday, but you might as well get a heads up about it this week because Saturn stations have an energy of their own. First of all, vitality tends to get pushed down a little bit when Saturn stations. In fact, pre-pandemic, though, the word on Saturn stations was always that it would be a time when minor illnesses like colds and stuff like that would be going around. And indeed, in the air sign of Aquarius, you may see that some things are spreading. It's a work-oriented vibe. It's not really going to be a real playful kind of weekend, I don't think, with Saturn stationing. If you're going to go have some fun, then I would say that the trick is to get all your work done, really feel that you've done everything that you could do, and then go have some fun. The moon will be in Sagittarius, and that helps. A waxing moon in Sag feels pretty good. And Venus, unawares to us in the midst of all the other things that are happening on Thursday. On Thursday, Venus will jump into, that sign, Sagittarius, the one I was just talking about. So Venus goes into Sagittarius. It definitely opens us up a little bit more for a little bit more of a party kind of feel after Venus's 3 weeks in Scorpio, which is definitely a little bit more serious vibe type of thing. In Sagittarius, it's a little bit more like go out and play and have fun. So then we'll have a Sagittarius moon conjunct Venus. That sort of stuff on Saturday looks like it would pretty much, be good. If Saturn wasn't stationing, it would be a real fun time. So the overview of this week: watch out for some tension in folks, especially at midweek. We are aware that this is a time maybe for letting things go and shedding things that aren't working for us more than building up. That's going to come soon. But this is more time to kind of let things go if they're not working for you. It's the letting go side of transformation rather than the building up. And not necessarily the easiest energy, I guess. A week where both Saturn and Pluto station is going to have its share of challenges. It's the good advice here is meet the challenges. Pluto doesn't really care, but Saturn does, and Saturn will reward your efforts. A little bit. Now we'll talk about it more next week. Bye.